Hello, grade 12 2. I welcome you to second term, term 1. And hopefully you are keeping healthy. Before school's closed, I sent you notes via the school website. And those are where I'm going to take time to explain. What are we looking at? We are looking at the types of systems. There are various types of systems, of course. We've got expert systems, the one that is under discussion in my explanation today. There are batch processing systems that deals with bulk processing at the same time. And these are critical in the sense that when the processing begins, there is no stopping until it finishes. So that simply means that if there was a mistake before you start the processing, you will have to live with it, or you will have to restart the process again. Then we've got the interactive system. These, they provide an immediate response to the user. When you do something like a mouse click, a computer is supposed to respond there and then. And we call these as the interactive systems. And for your own word, these systems are the ones that we use in the industries to operate machines, where the machines are started from a SCADA of a computer, and in the field there, the machine automatically starts after the mouse click. If you want to stop there, and then the machine will stop. So most of the industries which are automated, they use this type of systems, which we call interactive systems. We have network systems, then the control systems, automated systems like the automatic teller machine, Zanaco, ATMs, and then we have multimedia systems. We'll look at all these, but today our focus is on the expert system. What is an expert system? When we say expert system, we are trying to say that it is a system. We have a system here, which we are calling an expert system. Then what happens in an expert system? You see, we, the users, are connected to the database. In this database, which I'm calling the GP, there is information extracted from an expert. Let's say the knowledge of a doctor. We get the doctor's knowledge and put it in the system. If the doctor is not around, we can actually consult the system, and the system will give us the answers that we are requesting. If you are feeling like a flu, the doctor is not there, you can go to the system and explain to the system your symptoms. Then based on what we have fed the system here, it will respond to tell us the medication for such feelings is ABC, or for such symptoms is ABC and ABC. A system that is working like that is what we call an expert system. To illustrate this graphically, I have this image. This is an expert system. There is a user, and this is the user interface. On the far end, there is a knowledge base. So the knowledge of this man here, the doctor or the professor, we extract them. He tells us all he knows about medicine, and if he's the doctor, then we are going to put that into the database of the system. Then a person here who is not an expert, but has a problem which is the field of this expert, is only going to consult the system and is going to receive the feedback from the system. And this is what we call an expert system. So by definition, we can just say that an expert system is a system that imitates human expert. It's not like the computer knows all about medicine. The person who knows about the medicine is the doctor. And the knowledge of the doctor is what we have put in the system. Then you, as a user there, you have an ailment that you're suffering from or a sickness. Then you come to the system to consult it. And it gives you the desired medication. Like that, you would have consulted what we call an expert system. So it is not an expert, it's only imitating a human expert. If someone is a banker, I want to understand everything or anything about getting a loan and the repercussion. What I will do, I will consult the system, which is the banker expert system. And from there, I will get the resultant result that I want, and I'll make an informed decision. What I've consulted is the system. In this scenario, we also explain what a system is. It's just mimic the expert's knowledge. So, in the setup of an expert system, like I gave you these notes. I know you've got these notes with you. Here there is the user interface. At the far end there, we've got what we call the working store and the knowledge base. In between, the most important of these is the inference engine. The inference engine is the engine behind the way you are interacting with the knowledge base. When you interact with the knowledge base, what retrieves what you've inquired from the knowledge base is the working store. And the working store will send this to you as in the form of explanation. It will explain your request that you consulted the system. So there is an explanation system, there is the inference engine, and there is the editor of the database. The editor of the database is directly connected to the knowledge base. The function of the editor of the database is to ensure that we are capable of updating the knowledge base. Why is this so important? I mean, the editor of the database. It is so important. Like we are talking today, we are seeing each other via virtual classroom using technology. We are unable to meet because of this guy we are calling COVID-19. It's a new virus. When we go to the system right now, possibly, it has never been catered for. You consult the system and you receive the feedback which is not expected, because about coronaviruses, the sickness was not there possibly in 2010, and if we've got an expert system for medicine which was built during that time, this disease was not there. So the information in the database is not there. So to put the information now in the database of an expert system for medicine, we need to use the knowledge base. And in this knowledge base, we are going to use what we call editor of the database to update this. Normally there are questions which comes during exams that which part of the expert system do you think needs to be updated? That is the knowledge base. The information that has been missing there are supposed to be updated by an expert who is a computer scientist, like we are training to be computer scientists, will be able to update the knowledge base so that it is fully equipped to cater for the latest ailments that are coming. And that is the reason why we need what we call the editor of the database. It simply enables us to update the database or to remove things that are no longer in use. The knowledge base basically needs to be updated frequently. Let's go down there. Then there are various things that we need to look at, obviously. How do expert systems work? You have these notes, and they are as simple as that. The thing that I would want to emphasize on is simply the advantages and the disadvantages of the expert system. An expert system will provide answers for decisions, processes, and tasks that are repetitive. holds huge amount of information. These are easy to understand. You can just read this, and if anything, you let me know. And these are the disadvantages, and the most common disadvantage about the expert system is that, you know, it lacks the sense of humor. It works under the control programs. So if some instruction were missed, then it cannot attend to you. That is one major problem of an expert system. It works under the control program. If you've got a specific issue that you want to explain to the doctor, and it has never been catered for in the knowledge base, then we are stranded. We need to find an expert. That is one limitation of an expert system. So, how do they bring questions? I have a question down here. They're saying the diagram below shows different components of an expert system. There is X, inference engine, knowledge base, there is W. So when you look at this and you compare it to the diagram that I gave you, it slightly looks different, but there are no differences. It's just one and the same. Where we have the W there, this is where they're supposed to be the user interface, as can be seen from this diagram. So this is the user interface. Then on the other hand here, we've got the working store and the knowledge base. So looking at this question, there is just the knowledge base. What is missing is the working store. In between there is an inference engine. There is this arrow, which is a line which has gone all the way to the user interface. That we can look at the explanation system or the editor of the database, because the inference engine is already there. So this line can represent those two. But the W there can be fit to be what we call the storage what? The working store. And obviously we understand this too. So that's normally one of the ways that the examiners bring their question. Then name a component of the system which must be kept up to date. This is what I was talking about, and that is the knowledge base, because this contains the knowledge from an expert. When the knowledge from an expert is no longer useful, that simply means that it is outdated and it needs to be updated by an expert in the field of computer science. We were doing database administration in class, when I think that was the last topic we discussed before we started expert system. That database we were learning, one of the jobs is to update the database. And one thing that's supposed to be updated in an expert system is basically what we're calling the knowledge base. State one drawback of an expert system. I've given you a lot of disadvantages. Those are the drawbacks of these. Lack of creative response, like a human being can. You know, we are humans. We are creative. And I normally say this in class, that we are sons and daughters of the Creator who created us to be creative. We can come up with new imagination, but the system won't, unless you tell it what to do. So that is one drawback of a system. So in responding to this one drawback system, it lacks creativity. It can only work under the controlled program. Then the other disadvantages that you can put and can be acceptable from this question's point of view are any of these. And I'm sure that any question about the expert system will no longer be very difficult. All you need to understand is the user interface, inference engine, knowledge base. Knowledge base, this one, that's the database. Organized collection of facts. Similarly, the way we defined what a database is. Then the inference engine interprets and evaluates the facts of the knowledge base. So what it means, interprets whatever you enter into the search engine. When you look at the knowledge base, think of it like the Google search engine. That box where you enter the data you want to search is connected to a very big database for Google. And Google can be said to be one of the biggest expert system in existence because it provides us with some answers. So, whatever you enter here represents something like an inference engine. Then, the rules of engagement of how the knowledge base is going to respond is managed by the working store. And that's why the explanation system is coming from the working store all the way to the user interface. So user interface, the end user, you the person using the computer, sitting in front of you, a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse. Then the inference engine, what interfaces or provides a platform for you to work with the knowledge base. Then the response from the knowledge base is pulled by the working store to provide you with the explanation of what you sent into the system. Then the editor of the database simply means you updating or deleting something from the database which is of no use anymore. So those are the short summaries about an expert system, and I hope you have learned one or two things. If there are still some problems, please don't hesitate to contact me on 0966 272740. I'm all yours in terms of academic education. I'll be waiting for you if there are issues arising. And thank you very much. Hoping to see you very